Welcome to the conditional statement slide. Conditional statements in JavaScript regulate the behavior and determine whether or not a code can run. Conditional statements used in JavaScript can be found below. If, else statement. This approach depends on a condition which, when evaluated to be true, runs a block of code, but when it evaluates to false, runs another block of code if any was changed, using either the else if or the else statement, where the else statement is the default block of code to run, assuming neither the if or the else if statement condition evaluated to be true. We're going to see a simple code snippet where you have the if statement indicating the condition here is 2 greater than 1. If this condition here evaluates to be true, the first block of code here gets to be run. Else, we are having another condition here to check if 2 is greater than 1. Now this example is used for the sake of this particular course. If this other condition evaluates to be true, this block of code gets to be run. But if none of them evaluates to be true, that is neither the if nor the else if statement evaluates to be true, the else is always the default code that would run. Now in this situation, 2 is greater than 1. Then that means console.log yes 2 is greater than 1 will be seen in our console in our browser. And once this condition gets to be evaluated, the remaining block of code will no longer run. Ternary operator. This is the same as if, else statement approach, but written in a more concise manner. If the condition evaluates to be true, the first option is executed, else the second option is executed. This is the default format of how it looks like. The condition starts off first with a question mark, meaning that if the condition evaluates to be true, the first option gets to be run, else the second option gets to be run. Over here we can see a single line of code with the condition showing if 2 is greater than 1. If it's greater than 1, the first option here gets to be run, else the second option gets to be run. Technically 2 is greater than 1. That means the first option gets to be printed in our console. The last we have is the switch statement, which employs a switch container with a value to be tested and numerous cases, each of which has its own block of code and a break tag to finish the statement if any matches the value. If no case matches the specified value, the switch statement default choice is used. Now this is an example of the switch statement code where you have already declared an initialized value of variable of val, which is equal to 2. Now the switch container here has an argument of the same value you are working with. The case 1 is going to test if value is greater than 1, then it's going to console.log yes 2 is greater than 1. Else the second case gets to be run if value is less than 1. Now if none of these two cases are correct, the default value, the default scope gets to be utilized. But once either of these cases run, with the help of this break here, it gets to break the flow of data, and these other cases will no longer be checked. In the next slide, we will get to learn about arrays and how to use arrays in JavaScript.